No, Dr. Michael, you know him from UWell. He go to take a tutorial and probably set tomorrow.
Oh,
if you can come.
good to hear.
Yeah, the beginning of year you did right, and tomorrow 10 o'clock, 10 o'clock. Yeah, with his wife and his two student. Yeah, he knew me probably more than 10 years already.
Yes.
Yeah, since Corden. Yeah. Okay, so let's start our class then. So when they were in Houston, you guys could hear me clearly, or not much different, right? Okay. Yeah. So this Sunday we go to New Jersey too, for only few days, and we come back on the 31st. Yeah, and next weekend we go to St. Louis, and I fly to Houston after that, because I start my summer class at University of Houston. I will see my student twice. I stay there for summer camp and come back here completely the 18th. But in the meantime, I will be online like this. Yeah, okay. Let us back here. Yeah, and okay. All right, so last time we talked about a Buddhist may have the option, right, to be social, right? Or we talk about keeping fire. Yeah, and yeah, for this special event, I had one security guard. He will help us to watch the parole or the premieres of the event. Yeah, yeah, and how you been, anh?
Dạ, mô Phật thầy, con chào thầy. I'm okay. Happy Friday.
Yeah, thank you. All right. So let's just move on. The next one, wise effort, right? We talk about this is two pair in Buddhist view, two pair. The first pair is that if we have not done any good deed, we need to do. The second one is if we have done good deed, we need to do more. That's one pair. The second pair is that if we made any mistake, stop it. If we have done any kind of mistake, no, if we have done any kind of mistake, we need to stop it. If we have not done anything wrongly, don't do anything else. So that's a pair. That's a wide effort. That's understandable, right? So they want to skip this, not much important. Yeah. I want to ask about this. What do you think about this? That's understandable, right? It's straightforward, right? Can you see? Yeah, let me move this one away here. Anand, is straightforward, right? You follow me, Anand? Okay, so
yeah, yes, I hear you. Yep.
All right, let's go. The next one is what they call this is what they call here white concentration. So it's peer so wise concentration has been dry concentration. What's different between dry concentration and wrong concentration? We know concentration, but focusing, right? What's different between wrong and dry in conventional way?
Oh, in the conventional?
When we will say that's wrong, when we will say it's right.
Well, you can concentrate your efforts on like nefarious things. That's not, that's clearly not beneficial. I think right concentration also has a lot to do with meditation.
Yeah. Again, in Buddhist view, when we talk about right and wrong, in terms of whether it's beneficial or harmful for ourselves and others. For the children, they focus on shooting games. That is strong concentration, because it is really focused on violent games or shooting game that train them to be shooter.
It programs your mind.
Yeah.
It programs
Programming them their mind as a violent person, as a shooter. So that's what they call wrong concentration. Yeah, right concentration. That's they focus their mind on, let's say, compassion, loving kindness, and so forth. That's what about. Yeah. So again, concentration is important for our life, right? Doing anything else, driving, cooking, and so forth, right? And this one is meditation object, is like breath, right? We do breath, loving kindness, compassion, sympathetic joy, equanimity, all those.
those are the Brahma.
Yeah, so that's one here, and this five hindrance, that's that the obstruction when we do meditation. Doubt, sloth, restlessness, aversion, of ill will, or sensuality, and so forth. So basically, when we do meditation, there's two things that bother us a lot. It's restlessness, as our mind run away everywhere, sleepiness, and fall asleep. So that's are the two main problems we encounter. And this is that's just the charge. So when we focus our mind up, we have insight to do the practice. We have the wisdom, and this is delayed to what we call the four. Again, to recognize the or to attend to the four state of jhana. Miss Kirsten, you know about the jhana, right?
I mean, I do. I don't have a really great way of explaining them other than kind of the way you can, they're just levels of absorption.
Okay. So Sam, you help with that?
Yeah, pretty much what Kirsten said is, instead of like a regular meditative state, it's like one where you're very absorbed in a particular state, like the ones there, like happiness is kind of how they put it there, but it's like more than a regular happiness, of
Yeah,
course. Like,
happiness
It's more than the common happiness that we
Yeah.
have, more deep down in our mind.
yeah,
You help with this one? You help with
Sure.
this? Yeah.
like it's got like the formless jhanas there.
Yeah. So only when we if we focus on my well, so we have this type of experience. Yeah, it's not a level. So the first level of the first jhana is that we would not recognize a pulse because it's a bit too slow. That we not recognize. So when we are calm our mind, the blood circulation slowing down too. It keep our mind at peace, and that's why it's have this type of rapture happiness for the first dhyana. Yeah, and the second one is rapture happiness, and so forth. So it's just the explanation.
I think there are some like clinical ways of explaining some of it, like at the first, or at like a certain level, like your language stops appearing, like, so for so long, you're gonna have language probably appear in your mind, but then at a certain level of concentration, even thoughts with, or that's one of the first things that goes, are thoughts with words associated. And I think they even have them like correlated with all the gamma, the different.
Your alpha waves,
Yeah.
beta waves, all that stuff.
Ivan, you follow Ivan? Yeah, brain waves. Let me show you.
So the top level was equanimity?
No, not
Or is that the
equanimity.
bottom level?
The bottom.
Oh,
That's the
okay.
bottom. Yeah, it's the first level we just calm our mind out. Here, you see the brain wave. The frequent we used to see here deep. What do you call the beta, alpha, theta, data here, right here. So our wavelength of our breath and our mind too, the one function. Right now, if our mind is so chaos, we have this one, this type of the first one, the beta one, right? And if our mind is calm down, it will have the slower wave and so forth. Yeah. And that's the way when we're up here, we can even see any thought of our mind that pop up there. Yeah. Yeah. Anand, you follow Anand?
Yes, sir. I follow. Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Let's go back here. So it just information for us. Yeah. And when someone enter that the first jhana, they have the kind of bliss. They recognize it. They enjoy the kind of bliss. It's quite different from that eating consume ice cream or any food, anything. This is more peaceful, more calm. Yeah. And this is the other level, not the A level is here. So you say that up to the 4 jhana, even they have some kind of sacred power too. Yeah. Okay. We can go over briefly about this. So breath, love and kindness, compassion is just that's the subject of meditation. All right, so let's move on to the next one. Wise mindfulness, and the foundation of mindfulness. Ivan, you heard about this? For foundation of mindfulness, you heard about this one? This one here. You heard about that?
Who are you asking?
Yeah, this one here.
No.
No. So Sam, you know difference between
Yeah.
concentration and mindfulness was different.
Well, the 4 foundations of mindfulness, you got your ones where you're gonna be mindful of your body, and that breaks down to like the different parts of having a body, and then you are mindful of your feelings and mental states. And I think it looks different on this chart that I've read elsewhere, because I think that a lot of times, isn't like one of them like the Dharma? Or am I thinking of something else?
Oh, Dharma right here. This one Dharma here, mental object right here.
Okay,
right here.
good. Yeah.
Point number 2 here. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like you think you're mindful of your body, your feelings, your mental states, and you're mindful of other stuff, including the Dharma, importantly.
Yeah. So it's actually this chart is pretty condensed, right? It's pretty easy to see. So the first one, the mindfulness of the body. So the mindfulness of the breath right here. Mindfulness of the posture. Mindfulness of earth, air, fire, water. That's the element, the 4 elements. Mindfulness of the 32 parts of the body and our activities. While we work in meditation, we recognize how we work and so forth. And mindfulness of the state of decay of our body. That's just what the body and feeling, right? The feeling pleasant, unpleasant, the neutral, right? This one here. And mindfulness, the mind, desire, anger, meaningless, expensive contract, jealous, hopelessness, mood. So that's the mind state. Mental object right here. One is the sixth sense. You recognize to be mindful of sixth sense. And this is the 7 enlightenment factor. It's a lot. This is a lot of information there. And the hindrance when we contemplate about the mind. Right there. Yeah. Okay, so that's your chart. Just get the general idea, so we can come back later on. Anything else?
Will you send me the link to this?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure, we copy.
I'll show you sometime.
This one is more condensed, right?
Yeah, I've got one that outlines the the Mahasatipatthana Sutta.
Yeah, that's what the body ones. a lot of
Mm-hmm.
them-
Yeah, the 32
So-
part, right?
So I have one that's got the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. So
That's
basically,
that's my favorite one, but that's.
so basically that's what we call four foundation mindfulness: mindfulness of the body, mindfulness of the feeling, mindfulness of the mind, and mindfulness of the mental object of phenomena. So that's the four. Yeah, yeah. This is to go in detail about this thing. Okay, so let us go back to our reading. Let's see here. We done with the. Okay, let's see here.
But that's also considered insight meditation.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I like in the Mahasatipatthana Sutra where like on the chart it said like the 32 parts of the body. I think that's like when in that sutra the Buddha's like it's like think about how you've got all this stuff inside you and don't get worked up about it. Think about it like you're like a guy who's got a bag of different like rice and grains and stuff. He's like, just think to yourself, I got these eyes and teeth and blood, and you just go down the line. You just be like neutral about it, like you're like a farmer, and you're like, I got rice, I got beans, you know.
Yeah, that, I think the name of they call that actual contemplation is contemplation of bodily decomportment.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the rice and beans.
Yeah, even nowadays in some part of South Asian country, so the monk, they may ask the lay people permission whenever their relative pass away, they would keep the corpse so that they can sit there and contemplate. Yeah. Of course, for here for us, we go to funeral service, we can see. Yeah, for me, I've done all kind of funeral service for all kind of people, whether it's few months old up to 90 and above. Just seen them all. That's we can recognize. That's our body. Mm. Mm. So it's scary. You think scary? No. So probably you guys attend funeral service before, right? But here is pretty clean. Over there, well, they burn in the past, but now it's better. In the past, they burn by wood, right? They burn the corpse by wood.
Well,
Here
you
we
can
have
go
the
see
stove.
that. You can still go see that in Varanasi.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go back here. Sam, would you like to read this one, please? In defining.
In defining the Eightfold Path, the Buddha rejected two ideas that are central to other world religions. First, there is no belief in or relationship with a transcendent creator God who is sustaining the world and on whom one depends on for security or salvation. Second, the belief in an immortal soul is rejected as another false consolation. Similarly, unsupported by critical analysis. Quote unquote soul, like God, is regarded as a projection of the desire-driven human mind in its search for security and immortality.
Okay.
Well, this really comes back to the whole not self, like whenever they talk about in Buddhism, you don't have a soul, like that's in like the language that they use in like the books, like the Hindus, or they weren't called Hindus yet, they're like the Vedic guys who existed in the Buddhist time. They talk about, and like modern Hindus talk about an Atman, which means like a soul. The Buddha's like, no, we got an Anatman, which means a non-soul. And he's like, because you are not a self, you were made out of smaller things, these skandhas, these aggregates of attributes. So there's not this thing that's you, that's always you, that's just you, that's imaginary. And the logic, same logic basically applies to gods, which is why, you know, in Buddhism, you know, they mention like God's coming to meet the Buddha and learn from him, but it said that, you know, they're not like the Christian God or the Muslim God where they live forever and they are responsible for all the earth stuff. They're more like just beings that they also eventually die. They also have problems and stuff. They just live a lot longer.
Okay. This is yeah, this
What-
can you see a bigger?
Maybe a little bigger.
The Buddha.
Okay, the Buddha emphasized Eightfold Path as a practical goal-directed guide and urged his disciples not to engage in idle speculation or mere intellectualism. In one famous parable, Poison Arrow, he describes the problem facing a man who is hit by a poison-tipped arrow. The Buddha asks if the man should inquire about who shot the arrow, or what kind of wood is the arrow made of, or whether or not that hit him, or that the shot that hit him was aimed high or low. After going through many other similar scenarios, the Buddha points out that
Yes, we're on pause.
Yes, asking nothing to use cycle for.
Sorry, you done?
No, I didn't know if I should stop. So the Buddha points out that only if the man quickly and practically addresses the mortal danger immediately before him, removing the poison that would kill him, can he survive. The Buddha cautions his disciples that if they are to waste time upon pointless philosophical inquiry, they will squander their own spiritual efforts.
Okay.
So, yeah, I guess not. I guess that kind of goes along with right concentration.
Mm.
Also,
There's also something, I've seen it translated different ways, but it's usually like the 4 imponderables. It's basically like, I don't like the Buddha was like, here's some things that it's honestly a waste of time to think about because
oh, that's right.
it won't
Yeah.
free you from suffering. He's like, don't worry about how the universe is created. Don't try to figure out how my mind works. And don't try to figure out exactly like down to like a science, like how karma works. And there's another one I don't remember. He basically.
Oh,
like,
whether or not there's a God or something.
well, I think it was in the first. I think that's in the first one with Greater. Anyway.
Yeah.
Suffice to say, he's like, you can think about that stuff, but I don't recommend it because it won't free you from suffering. And there's another story that also like, you know, he's like out in the woods with like the monks and he picks up some leaves. He's like, how many leaves do I have in my hand? Is there more in my hand? Like all these leaves on all the trees? And I'm like, yeah, of course, there's more leaves on all these trees than leaves in your hand. It's like the leaves in my hand are like the teachings that I'm actually going to teach you because that's the useful ones. But all the other stuff I know about is irrelevant and wouldn't help you. It's like all this other stuff we're not going to worry about. Do you know those stories? Yeah, of course he does. Yeah.
Yeah, but they don't need to explain
Yeah.
to them. Yeah, but the important is to focus on the practice, to focus on how we transform the suffering into happiness. That's what the meaning about. It's very famous. You know this story, right?
Yeah.
With, like the poison arrow. Right?
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. Okay. All right. So we have to do next, please.
For this reason, the Buddha taught his disciples to be pragmatic teachers and to recognize that they are very different kinds of persons, each of whom has a different status determined by their karma. According to whether they are ordinary persons, learners, or adepts, each is to be instructed differently and led along the Buddhist path. Regardless of the individual's level, the tradition emphasizes that the opportunity of human birth should not be wasted, and that this life should therefore be lived with purpose. All Buddhists hope to attain nirvana, if not in this life, then in a future rebirth.
Understand?
I've been reading, The Heart of the Buddhist Teaching. And there's no self, there's no soul. What's reborn?
Incarnation.
The incarnation?
We born again. After we done this lifetime, we move on to the next one.
Is it your body of karma?
Yeah. It's
Like
just
where you are on your path?
depend upon all kind of sorry. Xuân nói thương cầm nó nấu sẵn cho thầy sẵn con gì. Yeah, so in Buddhist view, we came here because of our karma in the past we great. And when we head into the future life, and also depend upon our karma, good or bad. Then we can change our karma. That's what we asked about.
I was just like, what is reborn if we are nothing?
Oh, okay. Okay. So you understand the question?
Yeah.
What's about? Can you respond?
So, I mean, I'm instantly flashing on dependent origination as like the eighth consciousness, that deep seated karma that like you've collected over time, and that is what goes on to the next life.
I would say,
Your deep seated karma?
Yeah, so we talked about like the different levels of consciousness that humans have.
Yeah.
And that very, very like having things can go into this level that is sort of like your storage of karma, and that is what moves on.
So here in Buddhist view, right here, yeah, pi aggregate. You see that? See what about what about our cell in Buddhist view? This is a material form, that's the body. See that? And our feeling, good feeling, bad feeling, neutral, and perception, our thinking, naming and so forth, mental formation, our reaction, responses, the mental habitual pattern, and there's this the consciousness system. It's only six, but in the Mahayana Sutra we have 8 layers of consciousness. So when we're done with this body, those things be gone. The body, the physical form will be gone, but the consciousness, you can say that the soul, whichever, in conventional term, we move on to the next one. It's energy. Let's say if your cup, your bottle is broken, you can recycle.
Right.
So you guys recycle, it may become a mouse or a case. So the energy is still there. The energy, the plastic energy is still there, but we can recycle in different form of life. So the body here, right here, the body is done, right?
Right.
And the consciousness and all information that we store in our consciousness, all karma we store here in our life, if we move on to the next one. We have different form of life. It's like when we're done with this bottle, but the energy, the plastic energy is still there. We transfer it into the mouth, whichever that we want to transfer.
Yeah, I was getting caught up in it because it's not your personality. It's not your
Our
self,
personality
it's not your
too.
soul. It's not your.
No, we carry on our personality, we carry on our karma, we carry on our characters and so forth to the next lifetime.
Okay.
But in Buddhist view, right here, there's no real self. That's what's the meaning about the body.
Saying karma, replace that with cause and effect.
yeah, kind of think of it like, you know, when you think of like a person, you like when you absorb like the not self, you kind of have to think of a person not as like a noun, but like a verb. It's like a process that's like on.
I understand that we have this in flux.
So
at one point,
Yeah.
you're never any one thing.
So it's kind of like a wave. It's kind of like the waves that are you. Like when your body is gone, those waves are still going out, like from what you were, what you did. It's just not attached to your body anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, next lifetime you may be different person physically, but mentally, spiritually, you still carry on that your trail, your characters, your personality
Okay.
in similar way.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like you transfer from bottle to
Mouth.
to the mouth.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, so that's why. Yeah. Okay. Let's. Yeah, please. for this reason? Okay, sorry, the next one. Yeah.
The Buddha said that as long as my vision of true knowledge is not fully clear regarding the Four Noble Truths, I did not claim to have realized the perfect enlightenment. As the Buddhist progresses toward enlightenment, understanding the Four Noble Truths deepens through meditation and critical reflection. Mere knowledge of the elements of the path, however intellectually sophisticated, is not sufficient. Only following the path and perfecting one's understanding of each element will lead to nirvana.
Yeah, so
It's not enough to know it on an intellectual level. You have to experience it.
have to practice. Yeah, you have to feel that no matter what kind of pizza, the best pizza they explain, but you need to cook it, you need to experience. You have to consume to taste it for yourself. Okay, so that's on this page, and let me move on to another page here. Anand, you follow our conversation, Anand? Anand, are you still there? Okay, let me pull out the other part. Sorry.
How thoughtful the Buddha was about how to be a teacher, because what he said about people being on different levels is what, like, a huge basis on modern education, zone of proximal development, where you look at where a student is in their knowledge, what they already know, and then you try to find just above that level, so that you're pushing them, but they can still move forward. Yeah, so that was really,
Yeah.
really interesting.
So yeah, so they're the same. They're not exactly the same person, but they are developed in further days throughout the times.
Yeah.
So do we, right? We here now. Yeah, definitely we different from the time that we were 5 or 6 or 10, 20. But we're the same but in different way. And the next tomorrow we may be a different person, but in a similar way.
Every 7 years, your body's completely regenerated.
Yeah.
You're not even the same cells every 7 years.
So that's the whole process of life. This is continuity, the continuous process of life there.
Granting rice and beans.
Okay, it's big enough, right?
The Noble Eightfold Path is the most important summary of Buddhist practice, outlining the necessary progressive means for the realization of nirvana. The Eightfold Path is usually understood as the cultivation of morality, meditation, sila, samadhi, insider wisdom, and it emphasizes that moral progress is the foundation for successful meditation, and that the measure of successful meditation is the development and perfection of insight and wisdom. In the Visuddhimagga period, the 5th century CE Theravada commentator Buddha Gasa calls morality and meditation the 2 legs of Buddhism, upon which the body of legally insights stand.
Yeah. Just in the introduction, right?
Yeah.
So just mention about in general for the 8 paths. So the sila, the morality, meditation, and insight or wisdom there. Yeah. Yeah.
Consistent stages of the Eightfold Path underscore Buddhism's practical emphasis, whether in the foundational goal of improving moral standards, good conduct, and the material welfare of society, or the more advanced ideal of eliminating desire-driven behavior, restructuring cognition, and finally realizing enlightenment. Just, yeah, see active, it's something we use at work of, the idea is you see the behavior informs an action or cognition. And thus you do the thing.
It's like the more, right? It will mold us into different, a proper way of life. Okay, right here, the next one. Yes, Sam, please.
Sheila, or moral practice, right speech, right action, right livelihood is the starting point of the Buddhist path. One cannot advance towards nirvana without ethical integrity, or in terms of karma, one cannot accumulate a positive balance of karma needed to reach advanced stages on the path while behaving immorally. Stated positively, Buddhist morality emphasizes the wisdom of cultivating detachment, discernment, and compassion. I mean, I would say he's saying, you know, if you don't act right, then it doesn't matter what you know, honestly, because you know, you can, like you were talking about, it's like the difference between hearing about a pizza and actually eating a pizza. If you know everything there is to know about the Dharma, but you don't actually behave correctly, then you're not doing it right at all, you know.
That's understandable. Yeah. Yeah.
If you hear about all that stuff and you still do bad things, it means that you heard it or read it, but you don't understand it. Because if you did understand these ideas, you couldn't still do a lot of bad things because you realize what you're doing, you know, and why you shouldn't do it on an intimate level.
Or you don't value it.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the case of the sniper, they calm the mind down, the arm to the whoever they want to shoot to. Again, yeah, they have that calmness. They have that kind of concentration, but they shoot order. You heard about the story, or even they make the movie about the famous sniper, American sniper. You know that?
Oh, yeah.
You know that movie?
I've heard of it.
So he shoot, I think more than 140.
Kyle Kelly.
Yeah. You heard about that? No.
Was it his job or was he like a crazy person?
No. He was U.S. Army sniper.
But yeah, he was an army sniper. A lot of it was kind of like actually like a sort of a military agenda movie, but like it was very captivating and it put him in this very like hero, you know, oh, I'm such a, but anyways, the true story is, I mean, he did kill, he came back with some severe PTSD and then, was trying to work through his PTSD by going out on gun ranges with other PTS victims and the PTSD or I don't know, survivor. No, I'm just saying, well, like, I don't know how to, I think, but it's people, yeah, oh yeah, people, there we go, people with PTSD. Anyways, and shot.
Yeah, someone he
But
was.
they had
One of the other gun people shot him.
the guy he was trying to help, yeah. So it was a group of veterans, like, all like rehabilitating themselves from their PTSD from the, I was in Iraq War, I guess.
Yeah.
And anyways, one of the other guys shot him.
Wow.
Yeah, Anand, are you still there?
But
Anand?
they had like his funeral was this huge, like, Super Bowl type event, and it was very glamorous. Yeah, it was very glamorous.
Yeah, that's why in Buddhist view, when we harm someone else, especially when we shoot everyone else, their soul may haunt us in the Buddhist view. In the West, they would not they did that, right? That's why they have to type the PTSD, right? psychologically and spiritually too.
But yeah, they need to convince people that it's like a good idea to go join the army, and do things like that, but.
Yeah.
Cause you have a uniform on, it's okay,
What's that?
cause you have a uniform on,
Yeah, what,
it's okay that you're getting paid to kill people.
yeah,
The same. Yeah, one way you protect country, and other people another way you have to pay for the karma when you shoot down someone else. This is go hand in
yeah,
hand.
it's one thing if you're. with the army,
Yeah,
but
hand in
if you're
hand. Yeah.
with Crips, you know.
Right.
So
Either way, there's some karma.
yeah. Anyway, yeah, please.
Buddhist morality hinges on attending to three areas of human behavior: action, speech, and life. Right action is defined negatively as not killing, stealing, or harming other beings. Each of these leads to negative consequences, poisons the mind, and predisposes an individual to future immoral actions. However, only intentional actions lead to karmic effects. For example, if one steps on a worm without realizing it, in Buddhist moral terms, one has not committed the action that entails the acquisition of papa demerit. If one does it on purpose, it is an immoral.
Hmm.
Yeah. So
This-
right action is right thing, people.
Yeah, a symbol, understandable, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. Anand, are you still there? Yeah, can you read please? Reaction.
One aspect of right action that has divided Buddhists for centuries is the question of diet. Monks in the Theravada school are permitted to eat meat placed in their alms bowl as long as the animal was not killed for them. However, monastics in the Mahayana schools of East Asia, but not in Nepal or Tibet, concluded that all meat eating entailed animal suffering at some point, and therefore vegetarianism was the only dietary practice consistent with compassionate behavior. So in Nepal and Tibet, they consume meat?
Mhm.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
so it's just a subject of,
Well, up in the
Debate.
mountains, how are you gonna feed yourself? in those
Historically, they
freezing
didn't have a lot of pure land, so they,
Yeah, because they live in high plateau, it's in a cold area, there's no way for them to plant the vegetable.
okay,
But they still keep that habit, even they go to different area, even they live in different area. So you've been at the Tibetan temple over here, right? Of course, at the Theravada and the Burmese temple, yes, they can cook meat at the temple.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah, they cook, but they don't cook, right? They don't cook, but some
They-
people.
I've never actually bought them meat. I've bought them like, maybe some dried fish that they put in there, but I've never seen like.
No, the Burmese temple. I have not been back there at that temple, but
Definitely.
some lay people.
Not beef, like,
Mm.
I know like sometimes the lay people will bring
Mostly fish.
mostly fish.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, like the master said, the monks themselves don't cook it normally. Like
Yeah.
ever that I've seen, like the way people bring it already cooked. I think the monks might microwave it sometimes, but that's.
Yeah.
cooking.
Yeah, and I've taken them grocery shopping,
You
so
know?
it's mostly, I've ever bought them vegetables and spices, and, you know, potatoes.
So you are at the Sri Lanka temple. So during the celebration, they bring some special meat too, right?
Some of the lay people do, so yeah, you might always wanna ask.
I saw the lady people went and bought something chicken, and I was very surprised.
Yeah.
Cause, this was when I hadn't visited there very much, it was the Athena last year, I guess in September, last September, and I didn't know that they could do that. So whenever I saw that somebody had brought them chicken, I was like,
Yeah, so, I would say that, the Burmese people might even bring pork in there, but the monks, like, they do like put their hand over,
Yeah, if they don't want something.
if they don't want something, they'll put their hand over
Ah.
their dish. So,
Like not to serve them.
right, because the people serve the monks their food, so they can. So like, I think when I've seen them bring pork into the temple, like, so I didn't eat it. I didn't eat it. Yeah. But, yeah, they-
And that's why we want to stay away from those type of consuming the meat there. I see that this is the picture here. Yeah, please, can be.
Discussions of right speech in the Buddhist text decry the effects on the mind resulting from harsh and frivolous speaking. The content of our spoken words is important. Silence is preferable to gossip and other potentially harmful speech acts that can lead to human suffering, while further addicting the mind to false understandings and desires. So the more you act wrongly, the easier it is to act wrongly in the future.
Yeah, but sometimes, sometimes we say something that we regret later on. We may not mean that, right? But we say something that may be hurtful for others. We don't mean that, but they think that we mean.
Right.
So, yes, so that's why it's not easy for us to control our speech unless we have some kind of mindfulness practice. Yeah. Anyway, so just understand that we talk about that.
Right livelihood refers most obviously to occupations that are conducive to spiritual progress, either of oneself or of others. Some poisons or intoxicants has the negative karmic effect of habitually leading others into immorality. Above all, Buddhists should not pursue careers involving killing. They are forbidden to be butchers, hunters, or executioners.
That's understandable, right?
Yeah, it's
right now, during Vietnam War, they spread the orange agent, right? And now they were sued, right? And even the chemical that we call weed killer, right? So they get sued all the times. That's why somehow it's better to stay away from those type of business.
Right.
Yeah.
but I think also, like the trade, animal trade or the trade in living beings is that.
Yeah, we discussed it.
Constitution and.
Yeah, human trafficking, right?
Any.
Unfair labor.
Yeah, labor trafficking.
When they were in Houston, I read the news that they caught the McDonald, right? Somehow.
Yeah, we're on 3rd Street.
Yeah.
How could they hide those little child? How come?
I don't know, but I know that like some of those big meat packing companies where you really need to be, I mean, you're talking about some pretty gory.
The states are actually,
They had like trafficked Hispanic kids working in there, like, packing up your meat.
That's one.
Cleaning up cleaning up the blood and then.
I heard that Kentucky Derby, where there's all those crowds, that's actually a place where a lot of human trafficking happens, like where so many crowds will go there and just like slip people between each other, it's messed up.
they're actively in several states working on laws to loosen the child labor laws and to lower the age at which you can work. It's really regulated. You have to go get a little license to work and you can only work 10 hours or something, and you have to be 15, but now it's like, 10-year-olds, sure.
Yes, I'm so surprised. Just right here. You say that on this 1st Street Road?
From what I understand, the lady didn't have a babysitter or something.
I see.
But the kids were in there making the food. They were working. They were
So they got
working
paid.
the food.
They got paid.
I don't know. But they still can't be back there and they can't be
No way.
working. Not as tenured holders
No way.
working a fryer.
Mhm.
I'm gonna take, kids here, I'm gonna give them Jaws. I'm just being silly.
Yeah, Kaylee, please.
Yes. Taking care of example from the life of the Buddha himself, who abandoned his princely wealth as a free condition for embarking on a spiritual quest. Buddhist monks and nuns undertake to live simple lives with few material possessions. But Buddhism does not necessarily display a negative attitude to lay occupations that generate great personal wealth. On the contrary, the acquisition of wealth may represent the karmic fruits of one's meritorious actions in past lives. And affluence provides the opportunity for further charitable actions during one's present lifetime. On the other hand, of course, the wealthy must be aware that their material prosperity may encourage excessive attachment and desire and divert them from the spiritual path.
Hmm.
So making money is not inherently evil, it's as long as your money doesn't cause attachment and you're using your money to better the lives of others.
So nothing wrong to become a wealthy person if you acquire the wealth in a proper way. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong to be famous people, whether you are president, whoever you are. But the important is whether you get up to that level in the proper way, in the right way, instead of using some kind of scam and so forth. This makes
Right.
difference. So if you have enough wealth, yeah, with others. If you are in the high position, you can help others. So everything depends upon the state of mind. Everything depends upon how we conduct ourselves. Not because of the wealth, not because of the status. No, yeah. Okay, so we move this.
Now, have a good
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Those medals.
Okay.
Meditation. In the noble eightfold path, and great effort, right mindfulness, and great concentration refer to meditation. A term encompassing various techniques and traditions of working with the mind. The practice of meditation is essential to the development of physical insight into conditioned reality, freedom from negative states, and ultimately nirvana. Yeah, kind of like we were talking about earlier, the ideal goal is to not have to close your eyes to reach those brain states of like the theta wave. As we know from clinical, that life can be lived and observed through a state of relaxation and observation.
So effort, mindfulness, and concentration are the hardest ones.
Yeah, it comes.
So,
Yeah. Anand, are you still here? Anand? Yeah. So in the Flower of Dharma Sutra, it said the mind is like the artist. The artist can draw any kind of image and kind of picture. Our mind, right? Our mind can draw anything, whether it's good or bad, beautiful, ugly, and so forth. So whenever we see, if we have positive mind, we see everything is positive. If we have a negative mind, everything is negative. Like the one that have depression problem. If we stress out so much, we see everyone is stressful. If we have anger, right, we see everyone who approach us in that type of energy too. But actually, it's come from ourselves. But that's why meditation helps us to transform that kind of mind in the proper way. Yeah. Without meditation, it's not easy to transform it. Talking alone is would not have much. So that's why meditation is so important. So while they sitting there, so you get guide them to do breath meditation, right?
Breath minutes,
Breath
yeah.
meditation. 15 minutes sitting or what?
Yeah. That's it.
You feel comfortable now? You've been here a few times, right? You feel how? So what's the longest time that you could sit?
I usually try to do 15 minutes. TT told me to do 5 minutes.
That's more than enough. So if you could focus on even 1 minute at a time,
Mhm.
and then rest 1 minute at a time is much better than sitting 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and let your mind flying around.
Right.
You're developing a lot of bad habits, so rather than like the gym, you start out like 10 pounds until that is easy, then you move up. You don't go to the gym and go get the heaviest weight you can find and try to struggle your way through that. Because all you're doing is, developing bad habits
Right.
rather than.
Yeah.
Consistency.
Well, because in the off time, I noticed, I think I was just observing. I thought that my mind was going off track more, but it's only that I'm noticing when my mind is off track.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's better then. So sometimes you guys may say your children, like the little one, the big one, had come out, right?
Oh, yeah.
They're scared of that. They're scared of that.
Yeah, you're not good at time now. Little one.
How about in the school? If the student mess up, you have time out for them.
We'll have a calming corner where they can go to a different section of the room and feel calm, and I can.
That's good.
Far away from me, and I can. And I also have friends that I like to stop hallways sometimes, just because I'm a breath away from hearing his voice.
So you have some assistant teacher to
I
help
do.
you out, TA, right?
Yeah.
To take them away from you, so that you can focus on the whole group, right?
Yeah.
Good.
I'm a huge fan.
Hear your voice.
Not that was gonna be my problem.
So sometimes, have you ever guide your student to have 1 minute of kind of breath to calm the mind before or what?
I mean, not, usually if it's a situation where, like, it's usually for me, I'm like, okay, we're not gonna talk about this right now. Like, you just go do that for a minute and like, let's just make some space and we'll work something out. But nothing like everybody.
Yeah, I remember, I think, I don't know whether I told this story before we end. Back in Vietnam when was, I think, 4th grade or 5th grade. So my teacher, he's pure nice. In back then, the country just stopped. I mean that the war in Vietnam just sailed down, and the communists took over everything. So that's pure poor country. So even the pencil, we may not have the luxury to buy the pen, a pencil. So somehow we take advantage on his kindness. So usually he would buy a bunch of them and spare them. So whoever had the broken pencil, he would give to them. So he's so nice. So one day when he walked into the room, I mean the last room, he's so chaos. But the children we play around, run around, chase the harder and so forth. What happened? He came in, he sat down. He still run around. What happened? He flipped the whole table.
That freak you out?
He's so quiet. So I think that's not good. That's not good. And this is so violent. That's why, especially if you have that type of young student, right? You need to teach them how to calm. Yeah, he flipped the whole table up.
Never do that.
Yeah. Have you heard about another teacher? Probably they may be happy fire, right?
Like, he would take a music stand and chop all of it.
They may be fire, right? If they flip the table, right?
He was a fire. Not you, like our.
No.
Yeah, so we need to handle our mind before we teach others.
Yeah, that's why I do a lot of yoga and meditation.
Yeah, that's so important. Okay. And of course now, right, they use meditation to ask a student, the one that have the detention, instead of detention, have meditation. You heard about that, right? We can show next week. Yeah, that's good for them now. All right, so let's us finish up